Ladies and gentlemen, good afternoon. It is a great pleasure for me to attend this meeting today. Thank you, the chair, the chairman, and the chairwoman. Thanks a lot go to all of you. Today, we gathered together here to hold this parallel event, the gender harmony across cultures of the United Nations CSW 63rd Annual Conference to focus on Anti-Violence Against Women Act. This is a good meeting, and this is a great event. Let's give a big applause to the organizers of the event. My heartfelt and respectful thanks goes to Dr. Wani Idris Ajibade. My heartfelt thanks go to my dear Queen Diambi. And these chairmen we first meet. I know you are important also. I cannot pronounce your names, but I remember you all the time. The United Nations Commission on the Status of Women, Dr. Wani Idris Ajibade has arranged this special event. Let's again give him a big applause. In order to show my sincere and sincere thanks and respect to all of you, I have arranged a welcome banquet on behalf of African Youth Organization and Wall Street Times and Chinatown and Yongtai Seafood Restaurant. How about this arrangement? Do you like? Yes. And let's give a warm applause to African Youth Organization and Wall Street Times. In order to celebrate the success of this meeting and commemorate this great event, we will do something special for you. At 6 p.m. to 9 p.m., we are going to hold a welcome banquet at Yongtai Seafood Restaurant at 39 East Broadway, 2nd floor, New York, 10002, to welcome you to Chinatown, New York. As well as the first public ceremony of Wall Street Times Special Edition magazine, The Chinese Road to the White House, which is a story about a brave American with Chinese blood, Andrew Yang, to run for the 2020 U.S. President. We also prepare 2 minibuses for you to go to the banquet in Chinatown. The minibuses are ready to go at 4:30 p.m. just in front of this plaza. Ladies and gentlemen, please later on board into the 2 minibuses and let us continue our conference by attending the welcome banquet in Chinatown. Thank you. Thank you very much. Now, to our chairman, Bill William. He also our editor-in-chief of Wall Street Times to interview Andrew Yang, the 2020 U.S. presidential candidate. Thank you for your support.
Dr. Suyafat is the presiding officer of the Tobago House of Assembly. I love Tobago. Welcome here. Thank you so much for taking the trip. So Ambassador Beckles is accompanying the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago today, so she is the song. We have here, and again, these names are not in order of any particular, the Queen of my heart, who is now invited to please join us at the table. Queen Diambi Kapatiswila. Yami just returned from Brazil, where she's been crowned as the Queen of Congos in diaspora. That's a really big honor, quite a responsibility. Welcome and congratulations. Thank you very much. We have all the way from Senegal, my sister announced to me, the Minister of the High Council of Social Dialogue of the Republic of Senegal, Madam Innocence Ndiaye. Thank you for taking the time. You came all the way from Dakar. Okay, so I will spare you introduced, but I will ask my colleague, like a father to me, I must say, Mr. The Chairman of African News Organization, Mr. Bill Verdun, to please come and tell you a little bit about us.
And as Wally said, I'm Chairman of African Views. Before I continue, I would like to acknowledge our Executive Director, Dr. Wally Idris Abdibade, who was instrumental in bringing this event to light. Ladies and gentlemen, he doesn't sleep. He doesn't sleep.
And he doesn't let others sleep.
I get emails from him 3:30, 4:30 in the morning. Who's up? Wally, sleep. Drink whiskey. Sleep. Ladies and gentlemen, my generation learned that men are hunters, women are gatherers. Men are the breadwinners. A woman's place is in the kitchen. That was my generation. Wrong. A woman's place in society is wherever she wants it to be. Gender equality, gender harmony, gender understanding, anti-violence against women all begin in educational reform, awareness courses, sensitivity training in children's role-playing activities, and lesson plans to instruct and inform children from kindergarten through high school with positive experiences and achievements of influential women who have changed local, national, and international history, despite the abuse and disbelief many faced in their lives. Women like Harriet Tubman, Rosa Parks, Helen Keller, Mother Teresa, Madame Marie Curie. They were, in a sense, teachers. Teachers are like lighthouses. They illuminate the mind's darkness and remove negative shadows and stereotypes and negative energy toward women. And sadly, in many countries, women still occupy third class. And what about the same work? Work, different pay, same job? Although this was not my experience as a former teacher in the city system of schooling, I did experience this when, in 1968, during a teacher's strike, a temporary job in Wall Street gave me more money than a woman doing the same thing. I was sorting out stock transfers and things, and of course I'm with minimal money, and I'm looking at these stock orders that are in the thousands and in one case millions. And what about women's advancement in technology, education, and in career goals, whether in a law firm, managerial placement, nursing? Nursing again, I recall male nurses back in the 1950s and 60s making more money doing the same thing. And what about portrayals in literature? This is interesting. As a teacher, I find this interesting. The work environment and in the movies. For example, in the story and movie of Cinderella, we are taught to be fearful of the evil stepmother. The flip side of all this necessitates me to evoke the name of Professor Surendra Kaushik, the founder of the Women's College affiliated with the University of Rajasthan, India, the Helena Kaushik College for Women, for which I serve as educational advisor. His mantra, you empower a woman with a firm education and you empower and motivate her community. And the curriculum, everything I mentioned above. Nursing, economics, teaching, science, and computer instruction. A woman's place in society is wherever she wants it to be. Thank you. I now would like to introduce to you Ms. Padmini Murthy, our moderator for today's event. Thank you.
We will be talking, today is a very interesting panel. It's tightly packed, and whoever has worked with me before know I run a very tight ship. So I will be sending this with no disrespect, like saying 2 minutes, 1 minute, please stop. And if you don't stop, I'll pull off the mic. Just kidding. But, you know, we have to respect, and we want to have this to be an interactive session. So, very briefly, I would be calling upon the speakers, and please, you know, if you come and take your seat here, that would be great. So, to start off, what is gender harmony? I just want to talk a bit about gender harmony, because why are we even here? Yes, it's a CSW, yes, we all like Wally and Bill, but we are here because we believe in a cause. And we cannot do that just as women. We have to do it with men too. I've been married to a man for more than 30 years, but I'm just saying we need men's support too. So it's a question of harmony. So harmony is when masculine and feminine work together, like this lovely scepter you have here, which is so apt, if I may just show this, and together with each other. Thank you, Your Excellency. Strengths and see the value of some in all the parts. And gender harmony is a tool because it honors the strengths and weaknesses of the genders we work together. Yeah. This is really important. And also it's a continuous effort. It's an amplified effect of both working together. And gender harmony through training, research, and analysis is a powerful tool because it helps in gender empowerment, ladies, gentlemen, dignitaries, distinguished guests, and it promotes and accelerating family, economic, health, education, and social benefits. The key factor for gender harmony is respect. We all show respect. We show respect to each other. That's why it's so important. And the other thing is, with the theme of the CSW 63, it fits in so well what we are talking here today. And African Views has really been at the forefront in promoting gender harmony, gender empowerment, and gender balance. That's why we also have men on the panel. It's just not women. So last but not least, I would just like to say, I think it's just not March 8th, which needs to be International Women's Day. Every day is our day. And we need the support of the men in society, in our lives, to go on with it. That being said, it is my privilege and honor to welcome Dr. Denise Sophia Agnes, who is from Trinidad and Tobago, and she is the officer of the Tobago Assembly, and I'm really excited because she's a fellow physician. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for coming here, and we hope you enjoy the rest of the stay and stay in New York, and you will be giving the keynote address. Thank you so much, ma'am. The floor is all yours. Please join me in welcoming her with a warm New York applause.
And to say all protocols observed. In the overall fight for women's rights, the defined positions and required actions have often been labeled with various terminology over time. Gender discrimination, gender parity, gender equality, gender equity, and gender budgeting. Perhaps there are even more there. Even each required at different times and situations. These are years of conversations and generations of decisions and actions, resulting in some meaningful achievements, but has not yet reached the level of global transformation for women's rights and safety of women. While recognition must be paid to how far we have come, we still have much further to go. However, as we pursue greater rights for women, the safety of women has come under greater threat, and therefore, new approaches must be added. While across the world, the violence overall, including the disproportionate numbers against women and children, is alarming and has been increasing. Allow me to acknowledge the recent terrorist attacks in New Zealand and to applaud the responses of our female Prime Minister there. But this is why it is critical and absolutely necessary for this relatively new conversation on gender harmony to be enhanced. I therefore wish to commend the organizers of today's program and thank them for allowing me this forum to express my views on behalf of Her Excellency Penelope Beckles Robinson, and to share about actions which have been taken in my country and to learn from you as well as we all struggle towards achieving the goals. At the end of the day, it is about finding meaningful ways to convert these energizing conversations into impactful actions towards achieving the overall objective. Gender harmony acknowledges the difference and strengths in us as human beings. It is about finding the value in each and every individual and using it for the greater good, as Dr. Murthy told us in the beginning. It is about recognizing that some men have stereotypical qualities, as Mr. Verdon said. There are men who might be gatherers instead of hunters, and there are women who would be hunters instead of gatherers. Gender harmony is about removing those stereotypes and agreeing to work with the strengths of men and women in the families, in workplaces, and even in fun places, which overall create safe spaces for everyone. Being from the Republic of Trinidad and Tobago, in Tobago, around the time of 2013, there were gaps identified in developing progressive women and men to contribute to better relationships in homes and to be more productive in society. This led to the launch of 2 programs specific to women's needs and men's needs. For the women, we identified a need for empowering them with skills on leadership, entrepreneurship, and spiritual upliftment. And over the years, speakers have even included distinguished women like our panelists, Ms. Terry Ince, and international motivational speaker on leadership, Ann Doyle. The program called I Am Woman reminds women that they are wise, outstanding, motivated, adventurous, and noble. In a similar manner, the men's program, Macho Man, addresses issues of men's health generally, with emphasis on the prostate. In our country, men are hesitant about seeking medical care, and this is a way that we also got to that. The program also addresses their unease with meaningful communication about social issues. An interactive arts approach was used to provide an opportunity for men to share with each other, understand each other, and learn from each other. Macho also reminds men that they are multifaceted, assertive, caring, healthy, and outstanding. Many of these behaviors, though, begin at an earlier age, and as such, both programs were subsequently launched in the form of a girls' talk and boys' talk. with the aim of ensuring that boys and girls are comfortable with their physical changes as they grow into their teens and be better prepared to deal with the social challenges that come their way and interacting with the other gender. In 2018, the Barbershop series, Let's Talk Man to Man, was started with a partnership between the Office of the Prime Minister Gender Affairs Division and the network of rural women producers of Trinidad and Tobago through their president, Gia Gaspard Taylor, who is a UN woman, he for she advocate. Through facilitated dramatization and discussion in barbershops while getting haircuts or shaves, men and boys across Trinidad and Tobago are being engaged to prevent and reduce incidences of domestic violence. One can imagine that violence against women becomes almost an extension of bullying in schools, and therefore programs against bullying in any form has to be a part of the rollout. It is why I feel excited and hopeful that after our youth assembly debate last December, the youth carried a motion taking responsibility to address bullying in schools, and last month had the first anti-bullying march across the island with all schools participating to bring awareness to the issue. I believe that when you impact adults, you change individuals. But when children are impacted, that is the catalyst to transform societies. Colleagues, different words, different meanings, different actions, different approaches, but all with one common goal: to improve the quality of lives for women wherever they reside. Balance for better can be extended to include a balance in all approaches. Gender harmony is certainly a conversation that brings hope for outcomes of not just eliminating violence against women, but of achieving world peace. Thank you.
And thank you for all your work, not only in the medical field, but in the political field. And I think it's so important we have people like you. I mean, I'm American, I'm not in your country, so, but I'm a physician, and we speak the truth. It's like, it's really amazing, and thank you for sharing that and bringing that up about boys and adolescents. I think it's really important. Thank you, because all this is harmony. Thank you so much for your remarks, and we really appreciate your time. Thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, all protocols observed, I would just like to say there's a little, switching around in the speakers, so please bear with us, this happens. Our next speaker I would like to call upon is Ms. Marta Flores Vasquez, who is a Democratic District Leader in Flushing, Queens. Thank you so much, ma'am, for your time. And the mic is yours. Thank you.
Today, I will be speaking from the local to the global, but I come from a community where there's a lot of diversity in Flushing, Queens. I don't know if any of you have ever visited Flushing, but if you go to Flushing, you'll see individuals from every part of the world, across the world. And I represent that district, and it's a great honor. To let you know a little bit about myself, I specialize in domestic violence, and I recently became a case actee so that I can help individuals with problems on that epidemic with drugs and alcohol. And I help individuals with mental health disabilities. And now I think that I want to put together various forums where we can educate men and women that yes, they do need to work together, and yes, we need more female representation in Washington, D.C. We need more representation in the State Assembly, the Senate, and district leaders. It has to be one male, one female, but they need to work together. So we can't just have the females working without the males, or the males working without the females. Together, we represent a balance in this world. So I put some words together, and the first thing I want to say is that I am honored to be speaking before you because I am very passionate about equality, and that's why we're here today. Let me say first off that I am a supporter of people. That includes men and women. Being responsible in careers that include public service, social service, being a mother, and now a new grandma, I think that these variables are important about equality and unity. I would like to stress that there are three very important things: education, as a Puerto Rican, respect, and that there are three very important things that are lacking across the board, and we must educate everyone on the importance of education. Why education? Around the world, nearly 98 million girls are not in school. Globally, 1 in 3 women will experience gender-based violence in her lifetime. In the developing world, 1 in 7 girls is married before her 15th birthday, with some child brides as young as 8 or 9. No culture should endorse these things any more than they do slavery. So I'm going to cut my speech a little short because I've been given 2 minutes. I'm going to skip a little bit. While current statistics vary, women make up more than 45% of the labor force. It cannot be denied that they are subject to lesser wages, lesser opportunities to advancement, and greater opportunities for sexual harassment. But men are harassed, and men are victims of domestic violence, as equally as women. So we need to work together. And, you know, it's not always just about the women, but understanding, a mother of a male, understanding that the men need the support of women, and we're the only ones that can stand up for them, and not just stand up for women alone, right? And that's what we call equality, right, when we're working together, because that's why we're here today, understanding the importance of balancing. And speaking in my speech. We need to teach children, and we need to learn ourselves. We need to have patience to do that, show love with our efforts and the help of our communities. We can teach people to respect others. So that's why we're here today, to come together, to show respect, to educate, and to have more forums like this. And I thank all the women that are sitting here to unite and represent that mission, because without your efforts, this initiative would not be possible. And thank you for letting me speak here today.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for your passion. Who is founder, CEDAW Committee of Trinidad, and she's a CEDAW representative and a lecturer at UWI, and she's also the board director of AV. So thank you so much. And
Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for being here. My name is Terry Pence. I am the founder convener of the CEDAW Committee of Trinidad and Tobago. Are you hearing me okay?
Yes.
Thank you. No, yes? No. Okay. Is this better?
Yes.
So CEDAW is the Convention on the Elimination of All Forms of Discrimination Against Women. It came into being in 1979. Our organization, CECOT, or the CEDAW Committee of Trinidad and Tobago, is a non-governmental organization established with a mission to ensure the convention mandates are upheld and the recommendations implemented in the context of Trinidad and Tobago. The 3 guiding principles of CEDAW are equality, non-discrimination, and state obligations, with a vision for a specialized and sensitized, knowledgeable, and educated citizenry on the convention and its mandates, holding all stakeholders accountable for its comprehensive implementation, collaboration of all stakeholders as we execute on this major principle. It is in this spirit of collaboration that we are here today, thanking the African views, all protocols observed to everyone that preceded me and my panel members. And in that spirit, we're here to share and collaborate on Let's Talk Trinidad and Tobago. So what's Let's Talk Trinidad and Tobago? It is an initiative of the British High Commission and the EU delegation to Trinidad and Tobago. It was developed to create a neutral platform where pressing concerns related to gender-based violence and gender equality could be discussed, to raise awareness and create healthy dialogue on the issues. In 2 previous editions, events were organized. First, a panel discussion on gender equality and violence with female representatives from government, civil society, and the private sector. And second, a spoken word performance, followed by a discussion. The third installation, during the observance of 16 Days of Activism in 2018, beginning in November 25th through December 10th, focused on providing a platform to discuss the male perspectives on gender inequalities and stereotypes. Including the male perspective in conversation is important. Men both suffer from and perpetrate gender stereotypes, and no conversation is complete without the perspective of both sides. Taking a different approach and reaching out to new audiences through a series of media segments, radio, television, print, and social media. It included conversations with the British High Commissioner, the Ambassador of the European Union, and key gender stakeholders. While it ran through the end of the Human Rights Day, which is December 10th, the objective is to create a platform for discussion of these issues that will be sustained. So who participated in this initiative? Male gender activists, advocates who have been working with youth and communities and various locally based civil society organizations, engaging key demographic groups, including children, young people, men and women, addressing critical social issues related to youth development, sports, environmental issues, education, training, family development, and gender-based issues, and facilitates the symbiosis of corporate and civil society spheres for social programming, which emphasizes multi-sector collaboration and evidence-based approaches. So we took it from an entirely different level, but addressing all of the issues that impact not just men, not just women, but the entire communities, children included. So the CEDAW Committee of Trinidad and Tobago was invited to participate in this initiative, the only female-based organization to provide a female perspective on the dialogue and to support the expanded discussion. And I'll jump to the end because I don't want to get the hug. Because we believe and we agree that when men must see themselves as a critical stakeholder working with the women's movement and feminist leaders to advance gender equality. Men must speak out, speak up, and challenge men who perform acts of violence against women. Men's organizations in South Africa, in Brazil, and India have joined the #MeToo campaign to add their voices to the struggle to end violence against women and advance a wider dialogue of accountability. The He for She campaign, as you would have heard earlier, is one of those initiatives that has been implemented in both Trinidad and Tobago by other organizations in Trinidad, and the plan is to extend it to the Caribbean, the English-speaking Caribbean. The Let's Talk TT campaign in Trinidad and Tobago is one such effort among many to create conversations with men that mobilize them to public action. Thank you for listening.
He for she. And I just want to tell you that recently a bunch of women physicians, along with the support of our male colleagues, launched Times Up Healthcare Now. So even in healthcare, we just started this movement. But thank you so much for talking about that, and it's always a pleasure to listen to you. And now, keeping up with gender harmony and gender balance, it's my pleasure to invite the Honorable Hugo Noakuri, the Deputy Mayor of Newark, New Jersey. Sir, your time starts now. Thank you.
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Thank you. First, let me apologize for coming in late. I was engaged in my official capacity in the city of Newark, so you know your New York traffic, so that's how we navigated here I am now. So I thank you for the opportunity. I thank the organizers for the opportunity to be here. My queen, good to see you. I know we're talking about gender harmony, gender equality. I'm going to keep it simple because I know I don't want to keep repeating the same thing because we all know what it means for gender equality, gender harmony. So I'm going to look at it from the aspect of respect. So I'll look at it that if the man, us, the so-called owners of the man's world, will respect the woman. Just respect. If you keep it simple as that. I respect the woman. I'll give you equal rights. I'll let you educate you as I would educate the male child. And I don't think we'll have this problem. So, but most of the time, most of the societies in Africa, around the world, not just Africa this time, the woman is seen as a second-class citizen, not given the right respect that she needs. So if we give the woman the respect and then judge her by the same standard that we judge the men. I'll give you an example. In America, where we are, during the last presidential election, a lady by the name Hillary Clinton, everybody knows the standard that she was held with. You know, very high standard. I don't think any human being, man or woman, could live up to that standard that she was held at. And then her opponent was held at a very lower standard. And here we are with who we have today as the President of the United States. You all think what the America would have been like if we had a President Hillary Clinton. So the world has denied, America has denied us that because of what we call inequality, no holding gender, everybody by the same standard. So also there are things that the society, those that make the decisions have to look at. Women, naturally, because I don't want to talk about equality because if we might not have that, no matter what we try, because there are limitations of the woman. For instance, if the Queen and I were employed in the same company, having the same degree, doing the same exact thing, and we both get pregnant. I'm sorry, we both get married, not pregnant. But we both get married. Somewhere along the line, she gets pregnant. You know, she got a new job. I'm still working. I'm still producing. So everybody sees me like I'm the very aggressive. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. Now she got to nurse the baby. She got to do all these things. But the world forgets that she's actually doing more work than I'm doing because she is nursing individuals that will continue from where we stop. So it's very important. So I advocate that a woman should be given credit for that alone. You know, so a woman should be given credit. So but we don't look at that, and so we look at those limitations, and then I would also say the woman is not just about equality, but giving the woman the same merit. Let everybody perform based on merit. So give them the same opportunities that you give the guys, and then let's see who comes out best. Whoever comes out best earns, you know, the position or whatever it is that is at stake. Last 2 weeks I was at an event. My daughter, your daughter. It was just a non-for-profit organization that is empowering young girls. So all they are asking for is to give young girls the same equal opportunities that the guys have. So a lot of things we are saying about that. One thing, my speech then was that, look, no matter what we do, any society that does not give respect to the women is a dying society. You must educate them. You must give them opportunities. Otherwise, if we men are being men, working, doing all kinds of things that we're doing, guess who is at home raising the kids? The woman. Most of it, even if she works, she does a funny part of it. she works, and she's still the one that is raising the kids. So if she doesn't have the right education, if she doesn't have the right support, guess what? The society is going to lose. So I'm going to leave it at that. And again, I thank you, and let all of us, the men in particular, advocate for the women. They need your support. They are your sisters, they are your wives, they are your daughters. God bless you. Thank you very much.
Because I didn't even have to show you my 2 minutes. But I just wanted to thank you for your time, and also to say that you made such a profound statement saying any society which does not respect women is a dying society. And that too, you made this during this August CSW assembly. I salute you, sir, for that. And please join me in giving him a hand for making that great statement. Thank you so much. And now I'm just going to turn into my partner in crime, Wally, because he needs to recognize some people. Thank you, Wally. You have 1 minute.
Thank you. I just want to take a minute to recognize our kings here, Kings Asongwa, from representing Kings of Benin, the Republic. Welcome, sir. Your Highness from King Napoleon, by the way, representing kings from Cameroon. Thank you, Honorable Deputy Mayor. We're glad to have you here. Chairman Yushian Min, thank you very much for being here. Lady Goddess, I would say, my dear sister, Sister April Robin Bobbins, please. Here. I would like to thank my sister Dowoti Desir. She is a Real Majesty, a Real Highness from the I'd like to recognize my very dear friend, my dear sister, the cultural ambassador for Ogun State, Nigeria, Excellency Davies and Talabi. And my dear friend John Fure, Ambassador, how can we ever forget you, sir? Please, Ambassador, the backbone of our organization. Please. Yeah, thank you very much. Oh, of course, What else? I'd like to, I got a little brain block there, a little bit, because there's just so many people as we recognize that. But Ambassador Shabala, and of course, how could I? Please, stand up, sir, Ambassador Fode Mansare. Thank you so much for taking the time. My sister, my auntie, all the way from Netherlands, Dr. Barrel Bigman. If you don't know Dr. Barrel Bigman, you're in trouble. She'll be speaking later, but she is the queen of the Africans in diaspora, in the sense that, in a diplomatic sense, not the queen as the queen. But you'll get the difference. Really, it's a stellar people here in the room. I cannot thank you enough for taking the time. I'd like to recognize a lady who saved my life when I needed it most. She's here today. My very dear friend, Roberta Green. Would you please stand up and say hello to the audience? So, again, a great program. Guys, you are phenomenal as I expected you to be. God bless you. Thank you. Thank you very much.
And now I would like to invite our, excuse me, Wally, I think you passed on your brain block to me. I would like to invite Dr. Mame Diop, who's an author, lecturer, and an expert on women's health. The floor is yours now. Thank you so much for coming. Thank you for having me. We're trying to have gender harmony change in order. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you so very much. Good afternoon, everyone.
I am honored to be here, and I would like to thank you for being here, and I do recognize some faces. Good afternoon, Deputy Mayor, and Your Highness, and everybody. I thank you for coming. This is an important topic. Thank you so much, Wally, for inviting me to participate in this CSW side event. I really appreciate it. We're talking about gender harmony. Gender is an important topic. Gender, it is about us. When we talk about society, we talk about male, we talk about female. When we talk about families, we talk about males, we talk about females. That's what constitutes a family. And by and large, societies and nations. Therefore, it is important that those entities be coherent. It is important that we have harmony within gender. I do believe some talked about it earlier. The contribution that I would like to bring today is to talk a little bit about our history. When we talk about African nations, it seems like we don't know much about gender. All of the time we see models that are shipped in Africa for us to try to develop, to better our lives. And we forget that civilization started in Africa. We had it all. If you look at history, if you do a little research about gender and how communities, how societies, how families were built and functioned, then you realize that women had a higher rank in our societies. And the reason why is that we women, we were considered as deities. We are the ones to bear families. We are the one bearing societies and nations. Therefore, we were given higher ranks than anybody else in society. We need not to forget about that. And I would say that, unfortunately, because of our encounter with imperialism, because of colonization and neo-colonization, something new was introduced in our society, which is patriarchy.
That's very right.
That is so true. That is so true. And that's how. And that's how. Well, if we go back, that's exactly what we're going to realize, that we had it all.
Yes.
And I just want to remind people that we don't need to look at the outside world. We just need to look at what we had before.
That's right.
And bring it back, because we had it all. And an example that I want to give you, if you look at the Dogon of Mali, the Wolof in Senegal, and the Igbos in Nigeria, you can see those structures right there. You can see it. Now, what I want to say also is that it's very unfortunate that with our encounter with patriarchy, we adopted it. And unfortunately, that's the issue that we're going through actually, meaning that women are not given no longer the space, the place, the rank that they have. I'm glad that while they talked about solutions, and I just want to bring a little history. I like to go a little personal because, you know, it's good to talk about things that people can relate to. When I was 2 minutes, that's it? Yeah. I'm done? Oh, okay. So solutions, quickly, we need to raise our children. We need to raise the males the way we want to see them in society.
Excellent.
And if that is done within the families, that's what will translate
in the larger world. So I thank you so very much for having me here.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I must be the most hated person in the room because I'm cutting off people. But the reason is, again, with it's so hard to be a moderator and keep the time. So I apologize, but you know what? Somebody has to do it. So I'm the one here. So thank you so much for your very moving speech. And I just wanted to say one thing. I think the Asian culture and Indian American is very similar to the African. And it's ironic that women, as you said, deities, and women are stoned to death, and there's female feticide. What a paradox. And as you said, sir, so well, that we shouldn't become a dying society. I mean, that is really, I'm going to use it and quote you in my next book. Thank you so much. And now I would like to invite Madam Innocent Nyata to deliver her remarks.
Madame Michel Vianney, with Amélie. He was a representative of the République of France française aux Nations Unies, à la Commission de la condition de la femme, Madame Amélie. Je présente mes amis que j'ai invités, Madame Amélie, Madame Michel Vianney, et bien sûr Madame Nita. So we would like to introduce Madame Amélie. Amélie, please. She's sitting right there in the back. Would you please come forward? Madame Michel Vianney. And Mrs. Michel Vianney and Mrs. Olga Tap. She's a lawyer. And delegation of Senegal too. And because I stay Swahili, I'm okay to come to speak in this topic, but it's more easier if we have translators. Because gender harmony is a topic. And to tell me how social dialogue can be a facilitator for the promotion of gender. Donc bon, maintenant, mon rôle ici, c'est d'expliquer comment le dialogue social est un outil. Elle l'a dit tout de suite, le genre est un outil. Mais le dialogue social aussi, c'est un outil pour arriver justement à une bonne application, une bonne connaissance des questions de genre.
So she's here basically to explain how the dialogue social, the social dialogue is an instrument to establish a conversation about establishing equality between gender disparity and promoting women.
C'est ça. Le social dialogue, c'est quoi? C'est un cadre, une institution. Dans mon pays, au Sénégal et beaucoup d'autres pays, je vois que le Bénin est là. Vous avez un cadre national de dialogue social présidé par M. Atibé. Et le Cameroun aussi, ils l'ont au ministère du Travail. Cela permet de mettre en présence le gouvernement, les employeurs et les travailleurs. So, yeah, le gouvernement, employers and
So we're trying to bring the government, the employers and the employees to work together.
Donc, c'est un cadre de dialogue. Et dans le cadre donc, du genre, de la réduction de la discrimination sur les lieux de travail, le dialogue social permet à tous ces acteurs d'être sensibilisés sur les discriminations. Parce que souvent, les gens parlent du genre sans connaître vraiment peut-être les points les plus essentiels qui concernent les femmes sur les lieux de travail.
We are trying to bring to the attention of everybody involved of the role of the women that is actually not, they are not really represented. And right now she's trying to bring the attention to disparities and to open up a conversation where everybody can come in and share their opinions and see how we can close the gender disparities.
parce que la promotion de l'égalité femmes-hommes au sein des entreprises met en œuvre donc des actions et surtout des postures vis-à-vis des femmes dans les entreprises. Mais si les hommes, de façon générale, hommes et femmes, comme je disais tout de suite monsieur le maire, ne sont pas sensibilisés, ils ne pourront pas maîtriser justement ce domaine de ce que vous appelez le gender harmony. Il faut arriver à allier, à concilier la vie professionnelle et la vie familiale.
In order to attain these objectives, we need to promote the equality between men and women in the enterprises by putting in actions in order to reduce disparities between the gender roles. We need to fight against discrimination and try to find conciliation between professional and family life.
C'est dans ce cadre-là que nous, au niveau de l'institution, nous avons élaboré un plan de travail, un plan d'action pendant 3 ans que nous mettons en œuvre avec justement les organisations qui sont le plus en vue, dont justement Regard de Femmes et bien sûr d'autres partenaires. Et African Views est en tout cas un partenaire stratégique ici aux États-Unis.
With Regard de Femmes and African Views, they are partners that are working together, and they are part of the council of the dialogue, of the social dialogue of Senegal.
And thank you for your attention.
Now, I would like to call upon Ambassador Fode Mansouri of the International Human Rights Council. Sir, thank you. Who wants to make a brief announcement?
All for the call for that. Again. I'm here to continue what Dr. Wally said earlier on. He said the African View have been doing this since the last 8 years. And it's a lot of work for those of us who have been at the United Nations to promote what we do here every day. The African View members souvenir. That's what I wanted to present to you guys on behalf of the organization. It details the work the organization has been doing. And in the back here, we have a certificate of authenticity, which will be signed by the chairman himself. And they are limited copies. And we are looking for donations, as you can, and you can keep it. And we have a liquid copy that will come with this yearly, and we can keep you in our database forever. So it's $25 donation. And we ask that you humbly support us. That's how we're going to be keeping you guys informed throughout the year. So we can see you back here next year, same time, and same place. Thank you very much. Mr. Lawal is over there. He's coming.
Greetings, everybody, family. Your Highness. Greetings, everybody. Dr. Valle, a special for you. Congratulations. Dr. Valle, congratulations with this important topic. Thank you, because it is real important. Chair, this gives me the opportunity to make some remarks. What does harmony means? Harmony means that you are sweet in your skin. Harmony means that when you are in a workplace that you feel happy. Harmony means that when you are in a family there is good governance. Because governance starts at family level, isn't it?
Yes.
Okay. And a society, Mary Robinson, that was the former High Commissioner of the Human Rights, no, the Office of the High Commissioner on Human Rights, in 2001 stated that not one country can claim to be free of racism, institutional discrimination, and xenophobia and related intolerance. And a society where there is racism or multiple forms of racism, institutional racism related to procedures, and it is difficult to reach gender harmony if you look at it in a society point of view. And therefore, I would refer or bring into your attention, and I hope that this will receive a place in the final declaration of this conference. I will refer to the Durban Conference on Racism in 2001, whereby the transatlantic trade in African people and the enslavement in African people were declared as a crime against humanity. And still, this DDPA has not been implemented. I will refer also to the UN Decade for People of African Descent, whereby the same, we are now in the 5th year and it has not been implemented. How we are going to reach harmony in society, harmony in governance level. If we are not able to implement such important declaration, including the African Union 6-region African diaspora policy. Because if you combine even the sustainable development goal, then I can assure you that next year when we are here, there is gender harmony. Thank you.
Dancing with you at the next CSW. You know, women power. Thank you so much. And now it is an honor for me to invite for this particular session Her Excellency Queen Diambi Kabatunsulia Shiyoyo Muta, Her Royal Highness Queen of the Bakwa Indu at the Kasai Democratic Republic of Congo. And she's also the founder of the Elikia of Hope Foundation and President of African Youth. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for gracing us with the microphone.
Thank you very much, respected panel, distinguished panel, and respected guests. I'm going to do a little bit different because I don't like to stay at one place. I'd like to move around, if I may, without disrespecting anyone. So thank you very much, all of you, for being here today and for coming. And it's indeed a very important topic, the topic of harmony. And every panelist here, and I believe everybody will intervene, will probably come and talk about something very important about gender harmony. And harmony is everything. Harmony is respect, as we heard. Harmony is about culture. Harmony is about love and consideration. And I think this is really one of the major opportunities I have to talk about our traditions. As you can see, I'm a queen, actually female king in Africa in the traditional sense. And so Africa has a lot to teach us about gender harmony. And I think that I also heard some of my consort here talk about the importance of recognizing the role of women in community, because in ancient time, as in our tradition, women have always played a major role into the structuring of society, and especially in position of governance, and especially in position of trade. And today, if you go to Africa, most of the marketplaces are ruled by women. But it is also important to recognize that the harmony is not so much in saying, okay, we are always been considered as equal in Africa. A woman and a man are totally equal. However, there are differences in the sense that we are not similar. And the similarity is important to realize that we have strength in our differences. Because the strength is not about an individual achievement, but it's about the achievement of a society as a whole. So what is important to recognize is that the differences make us complete each other. So when I heard earlier, the place of women is not in the kitchen and so forth, I don't mind my place being in the kitchen if I'm really good at it. And not only that, if I'm respected for it. So it's okay to be a woman raising children and in the kitchen, because maybe during many thousands of years, we realize that we're really great at doing this. And today we have a crisis in education, we have a crisis with our youth, because there's not enough mothers home to raise the children. So my problem is not so much the equality to be able to do exactly the same thing as a man does, as my dear friend, the deputy mayor of Newark said, if I'm better at it, let's be judged on the premises of our performances. And we are different, and it's okay to be different so long as you and I work together, so you can complete me, and you can bring to me your skills, you can bring to me your qualities and your strength, and then complete the areas where I lack. So harmony is about recognizing each other's strength, and each other's value, and each other's weaknesses, and to admit that, in that field, I need help. And trust me, when I have 15 suitcases with all my beautiful dresses to shop around, I love to have a strong man around to help me. And it's not to put them down and say you are nothing but a bunch of muscles. It's to say, listen, your constitution is better built for this kind of opportunities. So what I'm trying to say is to say, we are, of course, every man and woman have the right to have equal chance to, be the best self in whatever capacity that they feel to do. And I also want women to be always educated, because even if a woman stays home and raises the children, she's the educator, the nurturer. So having a woman who's educated, raising our children, is really, as my friend Deputy Mayor Ugo said, the future that we are investing in. So without investing in our women, without investing in the fact that women have a very complex role in this modern society, because indeed we are in the workplace, we are doctors, we are nurses, we are teachers, we are deputies, we have all kinds of positions. But yet again, we are still home, in great majority, the one who have to take care of the children and raising the family. So this is why I want to encourage us to continue, because these men are sons. I have 2 sons and a grandson, so I have a bunch of boys and men around me. These men are sons, they are brothers, they are fathers, they are our family. So we have to make sure that they understand that the quest for women equality is not a quest for men's demise. But the quest for women equality is really a quest for balance in society and harmony in the society as a whole, completion. And so let's get inspired again by our elders, who have really built, indeed, as one my dear sister here spoke about history. It's important to understand where gender inequality comes from. To really understand, because nature was not meant to make one of the gender superior to the other, because it made us so we depend on each other. Thank you very much.
What a fabulous role model, and if I may say so, you stole all our hearts here. So the Queen of Hearts, thank you so much for your inspiring words. And what you said is, it's not a competition between male and female. And let me say, in a woman, a man is included, because it's W-O-M-A-N, not wo-man. So, the man is included. Thank you for your remarks. And now, I would like to invite to make very brief 1-minute remarks, Kim Maida. Kim, are you here? You have 1 minute. Thanks, Kim. Yes, thank you.
I just quickly thank Wally and everyone at Africa Youth for the chance to speak from the perspective. From the perspective of youth on gender harmony. I'm going to talk about the U.S. context very briefly, but of course it applies internationally. the concept I'm trying to get to. So this year was historic for the United States as 117 racially diverse women were elected to Congress. To put this into perspective, in 1992, 2 years before I was born, only 28 women served on Congress. So from 28 to 117 is a huge leap. Of our newly elected women, we have our first Native American and our first Muslim representatives at the highest level of government. As a young person, seeing this inclusive shift, I'm filled with hope that government may now better reflect society as it is. With men and women of all racial backgrounds making decisions that lead and shape our country. Finally, having leaders that look like me, a young Latino woman, makes me believe that gender harmony is an attainable reality. Although this is a positive sign, more work, of course, needs to be done. I believe that in order to live in a society where men and women are able to complement each other, as our panelists have been saying, are treated equally and fairly, and are given the same chances to be heard, it begins with our leadership. Our leaders must reflect the population. This means fair numbers of men and women making decisions that will ultimately govern our society. Once our laws and institutions are shaped by both men and women collaborating together, I think gender harmony will be attainable. If gender harmony is the result of men and women working together, then young women must be encouraged to lead, just as men have for centuries. Only then can men and women live harmoniously.
Thank you. Thank you, Kim. You will be a good role model for your peers. And now I would like to call upon Elliot Roberts, please. You have 1 minute. Thank you so much.
Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
It's a pleasure to be here. As I sat across the room, I thought about respect. Not only respect for the person that you're sitting next to, but the people that you work with, but the person that you look in the mirror at every day. It's important to know how absolutely amazing you are. You look at yourself and you have to know that you were made for greatness. You were created to do more than just put down your fellow man. You were created to do something to change the world. Your presence here today is not by happenstance, not because you got an email, or not because someone told you to come. This is a shift in the atmosphere. And you have to know that your presence here is important because you're important. You were created for more. You were created to change the world. And so our young men need to know that our women are precious, but our young women need to know that our men are strong. We need to be able to speak life into one another and not just put each other down. So whether or not you agree with what's going on here today, or whether or not what was said, you did not have anything, you couldn't even wrap your mind around it. Go home and figure out exactly what it is that you need to do to make this world better. Because without you, we cannot do it. Men and women. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much for showing respect and time. Thank you. That was really great. And now it is my honor on behalf of all of us to invite our traditional leaders to say a few words, Your Excellency. Thank you.
Hello, my kings and queens in the house. I want to greet all of you with the power of men and women. I want to appreciate, I'm going to give this time to everybody that make it over here today. Because everybody here is special. Everybody here is kings and queens. I have very good understanding of a lot of things that just been spoke here today. About the power of the queen and the power of the king. We need each other. The women represent life. The women represent the world. Without the woman, there won't be no world. There won't be no life. We have to acknowledge that. I will take a little small example. We know in jungle, we got the king of the jungle, which is the lion. Who do all the work in the jungle? Is the lion female. I won't say that because maybe somebody. because she's the one who fights, going to fight. But the lion also there to protect her. Make sure that nothing happened to her. Make sure that she's all right. But she do all the work. Cook. She go cook. Make him eat. Get the baby. Make sure the baby is all right. With that, I say let go ahead with men and women power. Thank you.
Thank you very much. I would like to thank everybody that it's my privilege to represent the King of Benin. And each time when I go home, I always go to my knees and say hello to my mom. This lady, the Queen, will say everything I'm going to say. Because when they say everybody come from Africa, I mean all the culture come from Africa. We have, in our kingdom, when the king wants to hurt anybody, the person who gives order is the woman. That's what we call Tassino. Tassino is a woman who gives the last word in kingdom before anything happens. So, I'm here today to say we have to love each other. The love is that's what covers everything. Thank you very much.
As we are winding down, we need to keep to time. I would like to call upon maybe Akpan to say a few words.
Hello everyone. My comment today is on how we can achieve personal harmony. Personal harmony, a path to gender harmony. I just want to encourage every one of us here to be inspired that we can be ambassadors for peace. We can be agents for peace. And we should be motivated to explore non-violent ways of resolving conflicts. I would like to encourage us that peace, indeed, is a determining factor for upholding human rights, for national development, for international development, and also for protection, for social protection. I would like to end with a quote from the famous peace activist, Peace Pilgrim. She said, if you find peace within yourself, you are in a position to affect others peacefully. You are in a position to imbibe peace, and you're in a position to be a peace builder. And that's why she said that if you as a person can build peace within yourself, then you can be someone that can live at peace with others. That's my message for peace. And that is what I want to encourage every one of us here. Let's go in peace. If we have peace within ourselves, then we can live in harmony with others. Thank you.
Thank you so much. You're so cool, aren't you? Our future peace ambassador. Thank you so much. And now I would like to call upon Bill Verdone and Mr. Jiangxing, chairman of the Wall Street Times, to wrap up. And my apologies for Q&A. We try to fit in all the speakers. So those of you coming to the reception, you find our speakers, you can mob them there. So I turn over the mic now to the two gentlemen who said there's no gender harmony. See, I'm calling two guys to the stage. Thank you, sir.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you need a taxi, go for him. I think they heard you on the fourth floor, but thank you so much. Ladies and gentlemen, by opening remarks, I mentioned lighthouses and education and teachers. We have been enlightened today. We have with us lighthouses who have illuminated our lives with wisdom and with a tremendous sense of motivation. We need to do what we need to do. Life is too short, and it should not be lived in fear, and it should not be lived without knowing where you're going to sleep or where you're going to eat. We need to do, we need to help. And I'm going to kind of paraphrase what Ms. Roberts said. And you spoke very eloquently, but there's something in my mind that I need to share. We make a living by what we get, but we make a life by what we give. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen. I'm hungry and I'm sure you are. I'll see you in China.